We're finally here, the end of an era. How y'all doing? This is Brian from Change is Good, and this is episode number 18 of the Jim Beam Wheat Cent Bottles. This will be the final episode of the series. So far, we've been through 85 rolls of wheat cents in this series. That's 4,250 pennies. We're now down to the last 6 rolls plus 1 partial. These are truly unsearched wheat cents from a bar in Joplin, Missouri. I have more information about their history in the video description. After I pour these coins out of the Jim Beam bottles, I roll them up upside down so I couldn't see the dates. Therefore, I have no idea what's in these rolls. I'll be hunting each roll off camera and coming back with a full recap of the roll afterwards. The recaps will include anything from the 1930s and earlier and any varieties or significant mint errors we find. And as a reminder, if you like this type of content, hit that like, share, and subscribe. And now, let's get into the rolls. And here we go, roll number 1. Folks, the first roll was amazing. It had a total of 7 finds, a new record. The first 2 are from the teens and 20s, a 1919P and a 1924P. The third find is a 1955D with a BIE die chip. Let's check it out under the scope. Up close, you can see a large die chip between the letters B and E in Liberty. This is known as a BIE die chip error because the die chip often resembles the letter I. These are very popular among error collectors. And the last 4 finds were repunched mint marks. Let's go back to the scope. First up, we have a 1954D with a mint mark that was repunched twice. Here you can see the top portion of the secondary mint mark above the primary mint mark with the bottom of it peeking out here through the middle. And although it's tough to see it, there's also the lower portion of another D below the primary mint mark as well. This is RPM number 1 on Variety Vista, or the FS501 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This is a great find. Next up, we have a 1955D with splitting here at the top left and bottom left corners of the mint mark. Next up, we have a 1958D with a light split here at the top left corner of the mint mark and a heavier split down here at the bottom left corner. And this next 1958D has the same situation with a light split here at the top left corner of the mint mark and a heavier split down here at the bottom left corner. Well, we're off to a great start. Now let's move on to roll number 2. Okay, the second roll gave us 3 finds. The first one is from the 20s, a 1928S. For the next 2 finds, we'll go to the scope. Here we have the reverse of a 1941S. On this example, the bottom of the lettering in E pluribus is a lot thicker than usual, and the dot is shaped more like an oval instead of a circle. There is also a die crack over here at the lower portion of the right wheat stalk. This is DDR number 3 on Variety Vista. And here we have a beautiful red 1953D with a repunched mint mark. As you can see, a split here at the top left corner of the mint mark with a lighter split down here at the bottom left corner. We're doing quite well so far. Let's hope roll number 3 can continue the trend. Alright, the third roll had 3 finds. The first 2 are from the 30s, a 1935P and a 1937P. And the third find is a 1951D with a repunched mint mark. Let's give it a quick look. Up close, you can see a pretty obvious split here at the top left corner of the mint mark. And now it's time for roll number 4. Well, the fourth roll only had 1 find. It's a 1958D with a repunched mint mark. Let's check it out up close. This one's a bit tough to see, but if you look up close, you'll see a split here at the bottom left corner of the mint mark. Now we'll play with roll number 5. Okay, the fifth roll gave us 5 finds. The first 3 are from the 1930s, 1934P, and 1937P, and 1938P. And the other 2 finds were 1957Ds with repunched mint marks. Let's go back to the scope. On this example, you'll notice the bottom left corner of the D is a bit wider than normal with a split down the middle. There's also a die chip here in the 9 as a bonus. And on this next example, you can see splitting of the top left and bottom left corners of the mint mark. We've now hunted 4,500 wheat cents in this series. This is the last roll along with a partial. It's been a long road, and now we're finally to the end. Alright, the last full roll gave us 2 finds. The first one is from the 30s, a 1935P. It also gave us 1 last repunched mint mark. Let's take one final trip to the scope. On this 1953D, if you look closely, you'll see splitting at the top left and bottom left corners of the mint mark. And the last partial roll gave us 1 find. It's a 1916P. It's nice to end the series with a find from the teens. Now let's do a recap of the hunt. That was a fantastic hunt. We had a total of 22 finds, including 2 finds from the teens, 2 finds from the 20s, 6 finds from the 30s, a double dot reverse, a BIE die chip error, and 10 repunched mint marks, all from the 1950s. And here's a fun statistic. We had a total of 96 varieties in this hunt, 93 repunched mint marks, and 3 double dies. Now, if you're wondering why I spent so much time looking for repunched mint marks and double dies, let's say that each variety is worth an average of $3 a piece. And in today's market, that's fairly reasonable. That would mean the varieties alone paid for both Jim Beam bottles combined. Of course, this takes a lot of time, but the finds add up quickly, plus it's a lot of fun. I'd also like to give a huge thanks to those of you who watched through the entire series. It was one heck of a ride. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it made you want to open your own coin shop, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any feedback or questions about any of the finds in this video, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll get back with you. Thanks again, and remember, Every coin has a story, and some of those stories come straight from the bottle. I'll see y'all next time.